The discipline of endodontics. Chapter 1. Modern endodontic therapy. Past, present and future. Written by John I. Ingle, Harold C. Slavkin. Because I will have you known, because I will have you know, Sanko, that a mouth without teeth is like a mill without its stone, and you must value a tooth more than a diamond. Because I will have you know, Sanko, that a mouth without a teeth is like a mill without its stone, and you must value a tooth more than a diamond. Miguel de Cervantes, Don Quixote. Through shifting times there passed those little bands of struggling beings who someday would be men. They survived through plasticity, through a growing capacity to recognize in changing times that today is different than yesterday and tomorrow from today. Many, most without doubt, were conservative creatures. They died by dry, unanticipated stream beds or numbed and froze in unanticipated storms. Those, quite obviously, we were not your ancestors. It was the others, the witty, sensitive, the flexible, the ones who could recognize a changing environment. These were the ones to assemble a new and most remarkable genetic package, ourselves, written by ourselves, that means the authors. Robert R. Day, The Territorial Imperative. Once again. Through shifting times there passed those little bands of struggling beings who someday would be men. They survived through plasticity, through a growing capacity to recognize in changing times that today is different than yesterday and tomorrow from today. Many, most without doubt, were conservative creatures. These died by dry, unanticipated stream beds or numbed and froze in an unanticipated storms. Those, quite obviously, were not your ancestors. It was the others, the witty, sensitive, the flexible, the ones who could recognize a changing environment, the ones who could recognize a changing environment. These were the ones who assembled a new and most remarkable genetic package, ourselves, who could recognize a changing environment were the ones to assemble a new and most remarkable genetic change. By Robert R. Gray, The Territorial Imperative. Change. It was Benjamin Franklin, not Mark Twain, who said the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. Change has been the one constant of history. The challenge is not to the challenge is not to avoid change, but to manage it. But change can be for better or for worse. This was the quote said by Benjamin Franklin, not Twain, not Mark Twain. That quote is, the only two certainties in life are death and taxes. Change has been the one constant of history. It is constant of history. The challenge is not to avoid change, but to manage it. But change can be for better or for worse, right? Fortunately or unfortunately, we have experienced both in endodontics. Both means for better and for worse also. The disappointment in root canal filling materials such as silver points, numerous intracanal disinfectants, and several sealers is an example of the failures we have endured. The move from film to digital radiographs, more profound local anesthetics, standardization of endodontic instruments, and new instrument alloys with novel means new geometric designs are only a few of the advances over the years. We can say this as these are the advances or is the betterment of the self or betterment of endodontics, right? There are only there are now many exciting developments to improve the quality and the output of our endeavors. Endeavors means hard work. Some of them will be winners and some will be losses. The time and experimentation will determine which is which. The time and experimentation will determine which is which. In chapter 2, Dr. James Gutman presents an historical chronicle of endodontics. Chronicle in the sense you can say history. So there is no need to repeat it here, but it might be interesting as well as educational to follow through on two early changes in endodontics that still affect us today: nomenclature and instrument design and standardization. These were the two early changes that are affecting till still today. One is nomenclature and instrument design and standardization. These were the changes for good, for betterment of endodontics, not for worsening of the endodontics. Let's discuss about the change nomenclature. 1. Nomenclature. During World War II, nomenclature. During World War II, Dr. Ballard Hoffman was asked by the federal government to solve the problem of high altitude tooth ache being suffered by a number of Army Air Corps pilots. This experience renewed his interest in pulp pathology. This experience renewed his interest in pulp pathology. Dr. Orban, a famous physician, psychiatrist, dentist, periodontist, author, and a superb histopathologist, was then asked to modernize endodontic nomenclature, which he did. Was then asked to modernize endodontic nomenclature, which he did. He first tackled the pulpal conditions and defined the various stages of pulpitis, wisely basing a classification on the symptoms of pulpalgia facing any dentist diagnosing painful toothache. He first tackled the pulpal conditions and defined the various stages of pulpitis, wisely basing a classification on the symptoms of pulpalgia facing any dentist diagnosing painful toothache. He matched these symptoms with what he knew was happening pathologically in the pulp. They ranged from reversible incipient pulpalgia through irreversible advanced pulpalgia with its excruciating pain to the painless necrosis of the pulp. Reversible pulps can be saved. But most really painful pulps are inflamed and are infected beyond redemption.